Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Clean Cut EDC. Today, we're taking a look at the KUBEY Royal. Yes, and this knife actually was a little bit surprising to me, right? On paper, it just seemed like sort of a basic knife. Didn't seem like something that would really, interest me at all. But man, this thing is awesome. I didn't expect the action to be this great, right? So we're just going to do a full review on this knife today. We're going to keep it short, and we're just going to run this knife through and see what we like, what maybe they can improve, and what is just absolutely terrible, if there is anything, right? So let's take a look. This knife is a spear point, right? Spear point knife. We have a beautiful bead blast finish or sand blasted finish on the blade. The blade has a reinforced tip. So we've got this little switching here, the bevel here, bevel on this side, and it actually reinforces that tip. The tip is fine enough to really do, basically anything that a tip needs to do. And yes, then we don't have a full flat grind, but we have a flat grind, we have a saber grind going on here. And then of course we have our deployment flicking hole right there. So beautiful blade shape. I have to say, I really enjoy this blade shape. The spear point sort of a look. It's actually a drop point more, but it's so close you can basically call this a spear point, right? Let's just check that drop again. Oh, how smooth, how smooth. Yeah, so lovely. We've got the designer's mark there. I believe that is OM, CM, maybe. I'm not quite sure. The blade is made of D2 blade steel. So pretty standard steel, but a great steel, right? Just because it is common doesn't mean that it is not a good steel. So, okay, let's talk about just deployment, because this thing is butter, right? We can reverse flick this knife. Can we thumb flick it? Well, not the greatest when it comes to thumb flicking this knife. Yeah, it's sort of, you have to nick it with the side of your thumb and then create enough pressure. So definitely not a good thumb flicker, that's for sure. But as far as reverse flicking goes, wow, man, this thing goes. It jets out. Perfect detent. Then also we have, for deployment, we have a front flipper, which works very, very well. So we don't have the strongest detent with this knife, but that's a good thing, right? Because there's nothing worse than a front flipping knife that eats away at your hands. Can I do this little front? Yes, I can, after just figuring it out a little bit. Come on. Yes, okay, so it does get easier as you figure it out more. Yes, there we go. So you can actually do your front flicking tricks with this guy, but the old thumb flick on the front flick is a winner, right? So front flipper, that works very, very well. Not a strong detent, so it won't eat away at your hands. Actually very fidgety, gotta say, very fidgety. Silky smooth action. Look at that, man. Yo, this is Kaiser action. This is very, very good. Yo. Okay, we've got some nice G10 scales. The blade actually does run on ball bearings. I mean, you can expect that with an action like this. I'm not expecting washers to really do that. Some of them does. My Penguin, my QSP Penguin definitely does. Is even maybe a little bit smoother than this, and it's got washers, so it's possible. But for the most part, bearings is going to give you that added smoothness. Oh, so smooth. So G10 scales on the blade, we do have a very nice jumping, and you can actually grip very functionally back here, right? And it is extended. The jumping is quite extended, so you do get a fair grip on this knife. You can choke up even a little bit if you want to. No slippery aspect to this knife. The jumping isn't done uh, great, right? I'd say I'd give the jumping about a 7 out of 10. It's not super grippy, but it's not like I'm slipping over it. It's just like, I don't know if it's really adding anything. So yeah, jumping, if you're gonna do jumping, then you better do jumping right. Otherwise, you're just increasing the price for no reason. But yeah, I just love the overall look of this, man. Damn, it looks so cool. Almost got this little sort of a race car look to it. It's just the lines, man. Yo, it's got jade color G10 scale, so you can definitely dye this probably whatever color you want. So that's very nice, I've got to say. The KUBEY design there, that's not a scratch, that's just a light. The KUBEY design there on the pivot, man, that's cool. I really like that. The backside, we've got a T8 pivot. Let's just double check that. Yes, T8. T8, T10, maybe? This is a T10 pivot. Nice. Okay, we've got a T10 pivot. That is awesome. That is awesome, guys. Let's check the hardware. Is the hardware going to be T8 then? Yes, the hardware is actually T8. It's only the pocket screws that is T6. Now, interesting, the scales, very grippy, textured, G10. Got some contours to it, nice and rounded on the edges, so nothing that's really going to bother you or create a hot spot. Even gripping this knife, there's nothing that I really feel is a hot spot here. It's very neutral, very ergonomic. It's not the most comfortable. The pocket clip you do notice the pocket clip. It doesn't bother you, but you do notice the pocket clip, definitely. So yeah, it's pretty standard, right? Nice lines, like it. That's pretty cool. These also come in various other colors, of course, like black, and I think there's maybe a purple one also, I'm not quite sure. Then the pocket clip itself is a deep carry pocket clip, but I almost want to say, right, if they didn't sink the pocket clip into the scale. They did use flat screws, which is very nice, but they didn't sink the pocket clip into the scales. The liners, however, are recessed and skeletonized, as you guys can see back there. And then we have a single standoff. So, yeah, I was expecting there to be some flex in this knife, but there actually isn't a lot of flex in this knife. Yes. So, I almost want to say, if you're going to choose between adding this weak jumping, right, compared to maybe sinking the pocket clip, I'd say leave the jumping and just sink the pocket clip, or do the jumping right and keep the pocket clip the way it is right now. But if you're going to spend time on something and increase the price, then yeah, you got to choose what's going to be the best, right? If you're going to add some flimsy jumping, then rather just leave it and sink the pocket clip. But anyway, it's pretty good. Sits very comfortably in your pocket. Super functional. One-handed opening is a breeze. It's absolutely functional knife. Very stable, very durable, very solid knife. No blade play at all, not even a little. And yes, and then also just the access to the liner lock is super, super accessible. It doesn't irritate your hand. We've got some jumping going on the liner lock, so even from here, it's easy to actually close it, and drop it upwards. So you can access this liner from just about any place. Even for left-handed people, you're gonna have a good time. Oh, didn't expect to get that right. So yeah, I'm not I'm not a lefty, but yeah, you're gonna have a pretty easy time with this liner lock. Super accessible in your left hand. Also, just a very nice knife. You can also switch over the pocket clip to the other side. Yes, you can, and yes, that will then give you the ability uh, to actually carry this knife left hand side tip up. So yeah, very, very nice knife. I really enjoy it. I think it's a great EDC knife. Good size also. Let's compare it to some other good size EDCs. Well, maybe not good size, but some other popular EDC knives. Here we have the PM2, and PM2 is quite a bit longer than our KUBEY Royal. Just a quick update on our PM2. We will actually be doing some amazing custom work with this guy because I just got this. This is some scales from the knife guy, and it is a dark matter. So dark matter black and red scales. Look at that. That is going to look great. So we'll do a video where we just take the PM2 apart, same as the other 150,000 PM2 videos on the internet that shows how to take it apart, and then we will put our dark matter scales on the PM2. Yes. Okay, some other popular knives. Let's see what we've got. Let's compare it to our pickled steel Tanter, and they are basically exactly the same size. The Riku T is a little bit larger than our Royal. And then finally, let us do the pickled steel Viper. Yes, they are very similar in size. Very nice EDC knife, this one. Very snappy, super cool action also. Yo, quality from pickled steel. And then we have our Delica. our Spyderco Delica. So you guys can see it is more along the lines of a medium-sized knife. Perfect for EDC. I think this guy is going to be around 100 grams, maybe around 90 grams. I'd say around 90 grams for this one. And unfortunately, we don't have a scale today, but around 90 grams for this knife. And yes, that is a perfect weight, man. Yo, very nice. The balance on this guy does feel a little bit more towards the back. As you guys can see, maybe there, it does lean a little bit towards the back. So yeah, it's a little bit bottom heavy, but it doesn't really affect the control, I feel, over this knife at all. So yeah, fantastic knife, guys. Definitely check out these guys. I think they run for about 1,000 rand. So not a bad price for definitely a good quality knife. Good steel, D2 is just fine. G10 scales that you can dye whatever color you want. And awesome pocket clip, awesome action, awesome deployment methods. It's just an all-round winner. Love it. It's epic. Get yourself a KUBEY Royal. Guys, have a fantastic day. Have a great day. Have a knife day. And remember that no knife means no life.